Hello, students. How are you? Happy Monday. Today, we are starting our writing about poetry, or rather, on poetry. So the first thing you need to do is get out your writer's notebook and a pen or pencil, please. So get that out. Make sure that that's right in front of you. Go ahead and hit pause on the video until you have done that, okay? I will expect you to hit pause right now. And hopefully you've come back and now you have your writer's workshop in front of you and your pen or pencil. So go to a new page. You know, we had work in there, ideas about fantasy. So go to a new page. Okay, so it's brand new. It's gonna be on the right side. Okay. Well, that doesn't help, does it? Sorry. Let's see if it helps. There we go. So this is the right side for me. And what I want you first to do is you're gonna write poetry. Write poetry at the top of the page. You can put today's date if you'd like. Interestingly, when I first wrote this, it was April 16th. So a little bit earlier in the year when I did this, but so go ahead and put poetry right up there, okay? And then when you're done that, put your notebook down with your pen or pencil and pay attention to the video, okay? I'm gonna give you a moment to do that. If you need to pause the video, please do so. Okay. All right. So poetry. This is our last and final genre of writing and writer's workshop. It is a really fun unit. And one reason why poetry is really fun is because poetry doesn't have a lot of rules. You know, we've been bound by rules when we write stories. We've been bound by rules when we write essays. We've been bound by rules so many of the other things that we've been doing, even with our informational writing, things that we needed to include. With poetry, it's more like doing art with words. And think about that. You know, can anyone make a drawing? Absolutely. Is it still going to be a drawing? Yes. Now, are some drawings better than others? Of course. And might you like some drawings more than somebody else? Absolutely. So poetry is like art with words. It can be very subjective. And there are definitely things that make a poem better than others and things that might make others like it more. And so we're going to talk about those things. But in general, there's a lot of freedom when you write poetry. Now, some of you are like, but I like rules. I like to know exactly what to follow. And some of you really like the essay format because there's a formula. If you follow the formula and you get everything in it that you're supposed to, you've got it right. With poetry, it's more open-ended. And that can scare some of you, whereas some of you who maybe didn't like the rules of essays might love poetry, okay? So that's this lesson. It's a lot of fun. Poetry, as you know, looks different. It looks different. You could look at a poem and tell that it's not a story. It's not an essay. It's not informational writing, okay? It is different than any other kind of writing. And I would encourage you to try to find some poetry books to read in the next couple weeks as we work in this unit. If we were in class, I would have boxes of poetry books at every table to give you a chance to look through and to read and to explore. Since I can't do that right now in the same sense, you need to spend that time finding those books. That being said, one of the things poets do is they look at ordinary things in extraordinary ways. Okay, let me say that again. A poet looks at things, so looks at life, ordinary things, the same things you and I see, and yet they see it in extraordinary ways, okay? They use figurative language like similes or metaphors, personification, hyperbole, onomatopoeia, and other poetic elements to describe what they see around them. It's almost like putting on glasses and seeing something differently. For example, I recently got some special glasses to help because I'm looking at a screen all the time now. These don't have any prescription, but they do filter out some of the different light that comes from my screen. You can see the tint on them, and then when I put them on, I mean, you can tell that there is an orangish amber tint. And it's funny, I can also see myself reflected, but it's supposed to be easier on my eyes. So I'm seeing you, I'm seeing this image slightly differently than you are, okay? Same thing as if I was getting sunglasses, right? These lenses are meant simply to shade it. So when I put it on now, everything looks a lot grayer. Even though I look cooler, everything is darker right now. And this is great, obviously, for being outside when you want to block out some of that. But in poetry, the poet is going to look at things differently. And that's part of our challenge. It's going to be our activity. So for our first lesson in poetry, I'm going to want you to walk around your home, okay? So in a moment, you're going to pause on this video, okay? But listen to the instructions first. You're going to walk around your house. Walk around every room in your house. Go outside as well as inside, okay? Assuming you can, right? Even if you were an apartment complex, you know, see if your mom and dad will let you, of course. If you have a backyard, go in your backyard. Check it out. Walk around. And what I want you to do is you're going to take notes about the things you see. That's all I want you to do. You're just making observations. In fact, this is very much like science in a sense. You're going to look, what picture, what do you notice? And write it down. That's all. You're going to walk around with your notebook, okay? With your notebook, pen or pencil, and you're going to write notes in your notebook about what you see. That's it. You're not writing poems yet. You're just saying what you see, okay? Whether you're looking, you notice the chair and how it curves or looks, or you notice the bed, or you notice what's in the living room, or you go outside and you notice the animals or the plants or the trees. Whatever you might see, I want you to go take those observations and you're going to write them down. And I want you to take like 10 to 15 minutes to do this, okay? So again, you're going to pause the video, okay? And then set a timer, 10 to 15 minutes minimum. And I want you to go walk around and you're going to observe and write down things, okay? And you can write about however many things that strike your fancy, but it is about the time. So if it comes to like 15 minutes and your timer goes off, then come back and finish the video. You can always go back and observe more, but don't stop early either. So don't stop at like 8 minutes and be like, oh, I'm bored. No, push your thinking, push yourself, look around, make other comments. What else can you see? What else do you notice? Okay, so 10 to 15 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes, doing that now. So pause, do it. Okay, you're back, you ready? Okay, so you spent 10 to 15 minutes looking, making lots of comments, writing things down in your notebook about the things that you saw, okay? So what we're gonna do right now is we're gonna turn those observations into short poems. Now, you know, most of you, I'm gonna expect that all of you have had some experience with poetry in the past. So you have some ideas, okay? I'm gonna assume so because you're in the 5th grade and poetry is taught at each grade level. And so right now though, it's just taking what you saw and turning it from an observation to a poem, okay? And sometimes I find it can be fun to write about the topic in a way that kind of makes it a riddle. So you're using the figure of language to describe the item, but you're not coming out to tell the reader exactly what it is, okay? I would also challenge you to remember, poetry does not look like regular writing, okay? You're not gonna be writing sentences. You're not gonna be writing paragraphs. And in fact, that's part of the challenge is how much do you put on a line? Or how little do you put on a line? One way that I think about it is to put a thought. And oftentimes a thought is only a phrase, or maybe it's only a word. So that's part of what you have to think about as a poet, is how you even want to write your poem, okay? I'm gonna be asking you to write some poems based on your observations, okay? I want you to come up with at least 3 to 5 poems. Now, some of you, this is gonna be hard. Some of you are gonna be like, oh my goodness, I got 10 so fast, because you're already thinking creatively, and that's okay, but the minimum is 3 to 5, okay? And you need to have them. You need to do this on Monday, because Tuesday morning in our Zoom breakouts, Zoom sessions, I'm going to break you guys up into the send you into the breakout rooms, and you are going to share your poems, what you came up with each other. And again, sometimes it's fun to write them like a riddle to see if others can guess. Okay, would you like to see some examples? All right, good, because I wrote some. I've actually written these before, and I used the classroom. So think about the classroom that you see behind me and try to remember what else was in the classroom. So as I show you these poems, and I'm going to go ahead and let you read them so you can see, what else do you notice about them? Okay, do you know about any of the poetic elements I'm using? Okay, notice how it doesn't look like a paragraph or a sentence or a story. Okay, so there's a lot of creativity in it. So I'm going to show you, I'm going to share my screen so you can see what I'm writing, and I'm going to read the poems through. So hope you enjoy. This is what I came up with. Okay, all right. So what I basically just said right now, this is all these first 4 paragraphs are basically what I have already just said to you. So here's my first poem that I came up with. The purple sea separates the desks from the board. Students carefully float on it as they listen to their teacher. Luckily, we're all excellent swimmers. Do you have any idea, guesses what that might be? What is this poem about? Number 2. The one-eyed black monster sits quietly on the desk, carefully watching everything below. Now, by the way, if you didn't get it, the purple sea was the purple carpet, right? So the first poem, I wrote a poem about the carpet. Like, I don't know about you, but would you think you could write a poem about a carpet? But you can't. Now, what do you think this one is? The one-eyed black monster sits quietly on the desk, carefully watching everything below. I would say that this is something in the classroom, and since we're not there, it might be a little bit hard for you to remember, but the one-eyed black monster is the document camera that sits over on my desk by the smartboard. And the thing that hangs down is a video camera. So it's watching everything below it. So that's what I was talking about. Kind of fun, right? Number 3, 2 numbered faces watch us every second, every minute, every hour of the day. Tick, tock, tick, tock. They mumble to us, helping to pass the time away. Now this one's pretty easy, right? Right? You remember that I have 2 clocks in the room on the different different windows, different walls. So their faces, aren't they? What is that? When I give something personal, human-like quality, what's that called? And tick tock, what is that? Maybe you already know some poetic elements. Let's look at number 4. The 4-legged friends support us, their feet covered in purple fur. They hold us up when we are tired. Their back keeps us secure. Did you think this was your chair? You are right. Can you believe that? I made a poem about a chair. You can make poems about anything. Again, what does a poet do? Looks at ordinary things and writes about them in extraordinary ways. Number 5. There is a huge white monster hidden in our room. Its white nostrils suck in air while its mouth breathes out hot or cold wind. It's so big, I wonder what it really looks like. I haven't seen its eyes. I hope it never, ever wakes up. This one you're really going to have to think. If you didn't think about it already, try to remember the room. White things that either suck or breathe out air. Oh, did you think of the air conditioning vents? You are right. So I just looked at those vents and I thought, that kind of looks like a nose and a mouth. And I don't see the rest of the face. So, I mean, if that's just the nose and the mouth that were those big vents, man, that's going to be a very huge monster, right? Let's go to number 6. Watch out, lava below. Carefully step on the tiles to keep you safe. Or hop on the purple raft. Don't get burned. So what am I doing here? Obviously, the orange tiles, you can see it behind me, is lava. I mean, who hasn't played that game before? And you got to hop on the colored tiles just to stay safe. Or, of course, the purple raft, which is the purple carpet. Fun. So I turned this into a little game. And did you notice how short I made the lines? Because you hop, which is short little jumps. So I thought very specifically about the length of my sentence because I wanted the poem to give that rhythm. Yeah, I got some more. I made 10. Number 7, silly students, chatting children, playful pupils, quietly working, carefully writing, some indeed are. Too many unfocused, talking too loudly, distracted as can be. So I hope you paid attention and could see that there's some structure to this one. What did you notice in that first stanza? Okay. What did you notice about all 3? Is there rhyme? By the way, did you notice rhymes in the other ones? Huh. Does a poem have to rhyme? No, it doesn't. Number 8, swaying gently, leaves are fluttering, trees dance in the breeze. Anxiously waiting, restless and excited, summer is coming. This isn't a riddle. This is me, much like number 7, just observation. So number 7 was an observation of students writing. 8 is being outside, and being excited about summer, excited about what's going on. Notice how I wrote it, how I gave some structure to it. Okay, 2 more. Once upon a time in a fabulous wonderland, there was a little school with a coyote as a brand. Students and teachers worked hard every day, math, science, language, arts, and at recess, we play. Now, did you see a rhyming pattern there? How would you describe that rhyming pattern? Think about that. That's not only is that there's some rhyme, but there's also rhythm to that. We're going to talk more about that on Wednesday. Okay, last one. Morning comes, tiredness remains, must wake up. Pour the water in, scoop the grounds, start brewing. Drip, drop, drip, drop, drip, drop, drip, drop. I can't wait. The aroma intensifies. My stomach growls. Pour, 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 pour. Now I have my coffee. Finally. Now I kind of told a little story with this, didn't I? But I didn't write it like a story. I didn't write it in sentences or a paragraph. And I focused on the main things that were happening in each little moment. So that paper is attached to this video. So you can access that and print them out if you'd like. I also have a list of the poetic elements that are attached to that. And I encourage you to read that, think about that. We're going to talk more about that on Wednesday. So now, again, your homework. You've watched this video, you've seen my examples, you've done your observations, but now you need to turn those observations into at least 3 to 5 poems, okay? And be ready to share them tomorrow, Tuesday, at our Zoom sessions, okay? All right, I will see you on Tuesday, poets.